Mr. Stevens, can I get you to raise your right hand the best you're able, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the evidence you shall give in the matter now in hearing should be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God, or so affirm?
I do.
All right, you need to speak up, sir.
I do.
Okay.
Mr. Stevens, if you could please state your true and correct legal name.
Trontavious Stevens.
And are you the same person referred to as Trontavious Stevens, also known as Tick and also known as Slug, on indictment 22 SC 183572?
Yes.
Has your attorney advised you of the minimum and maximum sentence for the charge in which you are pleading to?
Yes.
Do you understand that as to count 1, conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, that it carries a minimum of 5 years and a maximum of 20 years in custody?
Yes.
Do you understand this is a negotiated plea of guilty, which means that the state will recommend to the court a sentence that I will read, but the court does not have to accept this recommendation, and that the court can sentence you to the maximum on each charge?
Yes.
Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you understand that this plea, the state's offer on this plea is, as to count 1, 10 years to serve 2 years, commute to time served with a balance of 8 years on probation? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you understand that there are certain special conditions as it relates to this negotiation?
Yes.
For 1, you shall abide in full by each and all of the terms of this negotiated agreement, and your failure to abide by any of the terms of the agreement shall constitute a violation of this agreement. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you understand that you shall testify truthfully about all matters relating to this case upon which you are questioned at any trial or judicial proceeding stemming from the facts alleged in this indictment?
Yes.
You will testify truthfully about those statements and any matters related to this case when asked to do so?
Yes.
And you will make no attempt at trial to assert a Fifth Amendment privilege when questioned on these matters. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you understand that some of the factual acknowledgments that you acknowledged is, 1, that Young Slime Life, aka YSL, is an organization made up of 3 or more members or associates who share common identifiers that include but are not limited to colors, hand signals, and terminology, who have committed crimes intended to increase the notoriety, street credibility, and reputation of YSL. Is that one of your acknowledgments?
Yes.
Do you also acknowledge that you were one of the founding members of Young Slime Life?
Yes.
Do you also acknowledge that you committed an aggravated assault as alleged in count 1 of this indictment by brandishing a gun at an undercover police officer that was surveilling a vehicle that was hijacked from a woman?
Yes.
Do you acknowledge that in October of 2014, you were arrested with a red bandana and you were observed with a YSL tattoo and a Cleveland Avenue Rock Crew tattoo, amongst other tattoos?
Yes.
Do you also acknowledge in that same incident, when you were asked by law enforcement about your Rock Crew and your YSL tattoos, that you truthfully advised law enforcement that you were a member of a gang called Rock Crew, but that group is no longer going by that name and now goes by YSL, which originally stood for Young Slime Life?
Yes.
Did you also, in that same conversation, advise law enforcement that YSL originally stood for Young Slime Life, but the group began calling itself Young Successful Lifestyle after Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, signed a record deal?
Yes.
Do you also acknowledge that the statements made to police about Rock Crew and YSL, as reflected in sections 3 and 4 above, which I just mentioned, are true and accurate?
Yes.
You acknowledge that you've been accused of and arrested for robbing women?
Yes.
You acknowledge that you are the same person referred to as Tick in the song by Young Thug entitled You, in the verse, she getting robbed by Tick?
Yes.
You also acknowledge that on February 4th, 2021, you participated in a group chat with fellow YSL founder Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, and YSL associates Wooney Lee, aka Slime Life Shorty, wherein Jeffrey Williams stated, YSL rule the world, kid. Y'all just start bringing me the money. Man, y'all stop playing with me. Do you acknowledge that?
Yes.
Do you acknowledge that on May 13, 2021, you participated in another group chat with fellow YSL founder Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, and YSL associates Martinez Arnold, Miles Farley, Quantavious Greer, Antonio Sumlin, Mooney Lee, wherein Jeffrey Williams asked, y'all ain't beat him up or shot him yet, then states, y'all getting soft.
Yes.
Do you acknowledge that the gas station at 151 Cleveland Avenue is a location where YSL associates sell drugs?
Yes.
That also the gas station at 221 Cleveland Avenue is a location where YSL associates sell drugs?
Yes.
And did you, along with your attorney, sign this document and dated today's date, December 29, 2022?
Yes.
And that's your signature here?
Yes.
On probation or parole, your probation or parole may be revoked based on your entering a guilty plea today.
What on it?
By law, they have to say that you're probation.
Why that ain't in the paper though?
That's abortion rights. That's just.
I ain't read that. Can you repeat that?
Sure. I'm letting you know your rights. That's not something that's going to, I can't tell you that's something that's not going to happen. That's not something that we're asking for the court to do. But that's something that's a right that I have to read to you.
All right.
All right?
The constitutional rights. Yes. Sorry.
You're charged with one count of conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with a full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yes.